Today we're going to crochet an isosceles triangle with one short side and two longer sides of equal length. This is helpful for a variety of projects such as a banner, appliques, or simply understanding how to create shapes when we crochet. I'm going to use the pendants I make in this video for a future project. It's turned out really cute, so make sure you come back for that video. Alright, let's take a look at this pattern. You will want a 5mm crochet hook and some weight for acrylic yarn. This I think is just some random yarn from Walmart. It might have been that CraftSmart brand. So once we get a slip knot onto our hook, we will begin by chaining 2. So this is 1 and this is 2. And this is going to help us get ready to work row 1. So for row 1, we're going to work 2 double crochet stitches into the back nub of the first chain that we worked. So this is the first chain. I like to work in the back nub, or you can work on the side. You'll be fine either way. But wherever in that first chain you decide to work, we want to put 2 double crochet stitches. So I'm going to go in the back nub and work my first double crochet stitch. Whoop. That's my first double crochet stitch, and a second double crochet stitch into the same spot. We're going to have a pattern that's going to emerge, and the idea is we're going to increase on either end of our triangle. Since we only have 2 stitches, we're going to increase in both of them for row 2. You can use a turning chain for this if you want. Personally, I'm a big fan of the alternative turning chain. I'll show that to you right now. I'll start by turning over my work. I'm going to insert in my first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. I'll now have 2 loops on my hook, and then yarn over and pull through 2. It's basically like working a single crochet stitch. Then I'll find that left vertical strand, insert my hook under it from right to left, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That is an alternative turning chain, and that's going to count as my first double crochet stitch. I need to put 2 double crochet into the same spot, so that alternative turning chain counts as my first one, and then I'll put a second double crochet in the same spot. Then because my next stitch is all the way at the left hand side, I need to work an increase here, which means I'll put 2 double crochet into that stitch as well. So work my first double crochet and then a second double crochet. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Alright, for row 3, we're again going to start off by working an increase in the first stitch. And I like to use the alternative turning chain as my very first stitch. So that's insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Then go to the left vertical strand of what we just worked, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That's the alternative turning chain, counts as my first double crochet. And I want 2 in the same stitch. So I'm going to put a second double crochet into this spot. Now to work across, I'm going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch until I get to the stitch all the way at the left hand side. So the next stitch gets 1 double crochet worked into it. Splitting my yarn there a little bit. The following stitch also gets just 1 double crochet worked into it. And now I'm at the very last stitch of the row, so it's going to get a double crochet increase, which means we work 2 double crochet into the same spot. So this is 1 and 2, both worked in the same spot. So that's row 3. So our first 3 rows were increasing. Now for row 4, we're going to work double crochet evenly across, so that will be 6 double crochet. For my first double crochet, I'm going to again use the alternative turning chain. So after turning my work, I'll insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Then I'll insert under that left vertical strand and work a single crochet into it. So that's my first stitch, and I'm going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch that remains. So row 4 will have 6 single crochet stitches. This is 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now for rows 5 through 7, we're going to go back to doing those increases at the left and right hand side. So again, I'll start with that alternative turning chain to count as my first double crochet. And I've got videos on that if you want to learn more about this stitch. And then this is an increase, so I need to put a second stitch in the same spot. And then just one double crochet in each stitch across until I get to the last stitch, so the leftmost stitch. Or if you're a lefty, you're working opposite of me, so it'd be the rightmost stitch. Now that I've got one stitch left, I'm going to work an increase. So I will work my first double crochet and then put a second double crochet in the same spot. Row 6 is going to be another row of increasing, so we increase in our first stitch. So I'm going to work an alternative turning chain as my first double crochet and then put a second double crochet in the same spot. That's my increase. Now one double crochet in every stitch across until I get to the last stitch of the row. So this time it ends up being 6 double crochet that are worked between the increases. So that's 3, this is 4, 5, and 6. Again, we're just working double crochet. And the last stitch gets an increase. So one double crochet and a second double crochet into the same spot. Row 7 is another increase row, so we're going to work that alternative turning chain and a double crochet into the very first stitch. So this is my second stitch going in here, and those two stitches together are going to work as my increase. And then one double crochet in every stitch across the row until there's one stitch left. So because we had 2 increases the previous row, this time we will work 8 double crochet in between those increases on the left and right hand sides. So I think that's 4, this is 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're at our last spot, so we'll work that increase. So that's 2 double crochet in the same stitch. All right, now row 8, we're going to work evenly across. So I'm going to use that alternative turning chain as my first double crochet. So it's really just 2 single crochet stacked up, and then I'll put 1 double crochet in every stitch across the row. So row 8 will have a total of 12 single crochet stitches. So I'll just speed on through this row, but you're just putting 1 double crochet into every stitch, working evenly. All right, row 9 is our last increasing row. So same process, we're going to increase in the first stitch. So we'll work the alternative turning chain, which is 2 single crochet stacked up, and then put a double crochet in the same spot. Then work evenly across our row, so just 1 double crochet in every stitch until we get to the last stitch. And this time we will have 10 double crochet stitches in between the increases at the beginning and end of the row. So I'm just going to work these double crochet evenly on across. I believe this is 7, 8, 9, and 10. We've got just the 1 stitch left, so I'm going to work that double crochet increase into that final stitch. So that's 1 double crochet, and this is a second double crochet in the same spot. Row 10 is our final row. We're going to just work evenly across. So for my first double crochet, I'm going to stack those 2 single crochets for an alternative turning chain, and then I'll have 13 stitches left, and I'm going to put 1 double crochet in each of them. So when we're done with row 10, we will have worked 14 stitches all together. So I'll zip through the end of this row. Again, this is just double crochet, put 1 in each stitch from the previous row. You'll have a total of 14 stitches, and that includes that alternative turning chain as the first stitch of the row. Now all that's left to do is fasten off and weave in the ends, and this is how you crochet an isosceles triangle, where the short side is about 4 inches and the long sides are about 5 inches. While I chose to work 10 rows to crochet my triangle, you can repeat the same process to make even larger triangles. The repeating pattern is to have 3 rows where we do the increases at either side, followed by 1 row of working stitches evenly across. So if I weren't wanting to stop at row 10, then after row 8, I would have rows 9, 10, and 11 all be increasing rows, and row 12 would be worked evenly. Then rows 13, 14, and 15 would be increasing rows, row 16 would be worked evenly. And then repeat until your triangle is as big as you want. Now personally, I like the look where the very last row I do, regardless of where I'm at in the pattern, is a row where I work double crochet evenly across. In the triangle I showed today, row 9 got my triangle as wide as I wanted it to be. So even though the next row was supposed to be an increasing row, since I wanted row 10 to be my final row, I just worked evenly across for row 10 and then fastened off. The same idea applies for making smaller triangles. Simply stop at a sooner row. And again, if you want to, you can work the last row evenly across, but that's totally a personal preference. I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. Be sure to come back to my channel to see how I turned these triangles into a very festive decor piece. Happy crafting!